Hello Electroheads, and I am back on the channel unfortunately, sorry about that. I filmed a little video a while ago with a Mercedes EQB and some of you said you wanted me back.
Hire this man.
So here I am. Today we are doing a video with a difference. Today we are looking at my personal Polestar 2 and we're going to be talking all things ownership of the Polestar 2, what it's like to live with, and any quirks and gimmicks and things I found out about this car having lived with it for the past few months. So we're gonna have a little look around at the spec and then we're gonna go for a little drive around in London. So first things first then, you'll notice it's black. Basics things first. It is the performance pack. So you'll notice it is a performance pack because you have these big Brembo gold brakes here and you have these lovely dust caps as well and these enormous 20-inch wheels. That is married up with some yellow seat belts as well, so you can tell it's a performance pack variety inside as well. You can get a single motor variant, you can get long range as well, but this is actually a dual motor performance pack variant, so it's about 450 odd brake horsepower and 0 to 60 is about 4.8 seconds.
Tell him to check his source next time.
Not only that, you've also got Öhlins 22-way adjustable dampers in there as well, which are unbelievably trick and a piece of kit that no one could get their head around why this was in this car. It's an unbelievable package, really, really great. And the package only costs about £5,000. So it's actually a lot of kit for not a lot of money. Around the back of the car, I don't really know what to tell you. We've got privacy glass, a little light show actually when you lock and unlock the car. So let's have a look at that. Good. That's it. Right, let's come inside then. And you'll have to bear with. It's not clean because I genuinely use this every single day. I have my dogs in it, I have my girlfriend in it, and separated. So there's some dog fluff and stuff in here. Inside then, come on, come in, let's have a little look. We've also got the pilot pack and we've also got the premium pack as well. So effectively we've got things like head-up display, automatic driving, cruise control, the massive Harman Kardon hi-fi as well, and these seats actually as well, which I think are made out of kind of recycled litter or something like that. Something very green and vegan and eco. So all in all, a very nice place in here. I'm very happy sat in here. And the interesting thing about this car, it's Google based. So you can actually sign into your Google account and we'll get into the tech when we go for a drive. I think that's it for now. Actually, hold on.
There's more.
The back, because some people have friends they put in the back of these things. Get in the back! I've not actually been in the back of this before. There is actually an amazing amount of room. Looking outside the car, it looks really compact, but it's like a TARDIS. You get in here, there's loads of room. Look how much movement I'm doing. I'm practicing breaststroke back here. I think that's partly due to the panoramic roof. This roof is essential. It's huge and it gives a really nice sense of light as well. Sat upright like this, I've got loads of room, look.
He's so random.
And in the middle here, you've got an armrest with some cup holders. You've got climate control, you've got seat heating back here as well, and you've got a cigarette charger. Actually, no, you've got USB-Cs back here as well. Polestar have thought of it all. It's good news. I'm actually more excited about the back of the car than I thought. Waffle done then, let's go for a little drive. We're actually running a little bit low on juice. So we're gonna go and find a charging station with the help of Google. Off we go then. So, a slight correction to the power output I mentioned earlier. This car actually has 402 brake horsepower. It is the 300 kilowatt variant. I said about 430 or so earlier, I think. 450 odd. He's done it again! What's confused me is there is now a performance upgrade available for this car, whereby you can, I think, just download some software and it puts it up to 469 brake horsepower. So you can get an extra 70 brake horsepower just by doing a software upgrade. And I think that is only applicable to the dual motor performance cars like this one. That brings the 0 to 60 sprint down to a very respectable 4.2 seconds, down from 4.7 seconds, which is no mean feat. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. And that actually is of no concern whatsoever because the brakes on this thing, I pointed out earlier, those big fat Brembos are unbelievable. Usually when you talk about adding a load more power to a car that doesn't necessarily come with it in the first place, there is concern about the other components being able to keep up with that. But the brakes are unbelievable, so I'm definitely going to do that. So what's it like to live with around town? It's unbelievable to drive on country roads, but realistically, this is going to be the sort of driving that people do with their electric car. Low speeds around town, kind of just mooching around. And this is the main use that I use this car for. It's a very pleasant place to be. Those Trick Öhlins dampers really do get rid of the common gripe that people have with electric cars, that they can be quite crashy, they can be quite uncomfortable due to the extra weight. Those dampers are really clever, and it's so much more comfortable than, I had an i3S for a year, BMW i3S. It is a lot more comfortable than that just to use on a day-to-day basis. You don't really feel the weight of the car. It's very well done. It's such clever technology. I don't know how they've managed it, but it does feel like a smaller, more nimble car than potentially it should be. So very good news. Tech-wise, on a day-to-day basis, I'm a bit of an Apple CarPlay fiend. I love a bit of Apple CarPlay. You can't get that in this car being Google based. You have to rely on Google Maps. Luckily, Google Maps works very well, so it's not the end of the world. You're not stuck with some awful system which you've never seen before. It is all very good news. So you can actually sign in via your Google account. You've got the Google Play Store on there as well. So anyone familiar with Android and that kind of operating system, jumping on one of these cars, you're effectively just sitting in a big phone. It's really good. The other clever thing you can do as well, and let's hope it works right now, is you can talk to it. A bit like Siri, but actually probably slightly better. So you can ask it all sorts of things. Hey Google, is TGE TV a good YouTube channel?
Sorry, I don't understand.
All right. Hey Google, what's the weather like today?
Right now in London, it's 3 degrees and sunny. Today, it will be mostly sunny, with a forecast high of 6 and a low of 0.
Looks correct, to be honest. I can't argue with that. It is very cold and it's sunny, so well done. 1 out of 2, that's not bad. So my previous city daily was an i3S, and the range on that wasn't brilliant. The range on this Polestar Stay is around 280 odd miles. That is in optimal conditions. However, when you've got freezing cold weather, you're using seat heating, you're using the wonderful heated steering wheel, you've got your music on full blast, all the usual nonsense, that does come down considerably. I would say real world range with a full battery, it's probably closer to 200 miles if you're faffing around with everything and you're in winter, which is actually not bad at all and more than enough. Charging wise, speeds are up to 150 kilowatts. So you haven't got Tesla supercharger levels of charging, but earlier I put about 30% of battery in this thing in about 15 minutes. It cost me about £7, £8, and I can live with that. It's not bad at all. That is on the expensive side of charging. I use a charging station that rips me off. Usual kind of charging and range gripes, none really to be had with this car. And actually, on a day-to-day basis, I do enjoy driving it. Also, actually, with Google, you can just say, hey Google, find me a charging station.
Okay, I can play that on YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Music, or Deezer. Which one do you want to use?
None of those are going to help me charge my car. What are you on about?
Chill.
I'm setting your destination to charge your car charging station.
There we go. Shouting and being rude worked.
That's a good message to put out there.
Actually, when you get low, it'll ask you, do you want to find a charging station? It'll give you a whole load of charging stations over on the screen. At the moment, it's found some nonsense charging station just past Dundee in Scotland.
Showing results for actually, when you get low, I ask you, do you want to find a charging station? It'll give you a whole load of charging stations over on the screen, and the moment it's found some nonsense charging station.
Google, are you okay? I think I've killed it. So in all seriousness then, when you actually ask Google properly and you don't mumble or say it like an idiot and it doesn't understand what you're talking about, it will give you so many different options. It will give you purely just charging stations. It will give you charging stations with food. It will give you a live update of how much battery you'll actually have when you get there, how long it will take you to get there. It's really, really smart. Other points to note then, pottering around, it's very, very quiet in here. The one thing about electric cars that car manufacturers can't get away with is poor build quality, because you hear it. You just can't get away with it. And in this, there are no rattles, there's no squeaks, there's literally nothing. You can't hear anything going on in here. Road noise is actually really good as well. You don't really hear much, despite the fact the tyres are absolutely enormous, but it's quiet. It's a good place to be. On motorways, it's very good news. The cruise control works very well. I don't have anything negative to say about the car, other than the fact I like CarPlay, but I've got over that. Pricing then on the Polestar 2. Prices start at 39,000 and something, and once you start ramming a load of options on it, like this car, this is about as fully loaded as it gets, that quickly bumps up to around, I think on the road this car was about 55 grand, which isn't a huge amount of money, particularly when you take into account the financial incentives for electric vehicles and the tax efficiencies and all the kind of mumbo jumbo that you can get with electric cars these days. That is not a bad place to be, particularly when you take into account that that is literally the most expensive Polestar 2 you can get. I think it's good news. We're at a Shell, and this is actually where I usually charge this Polestar. Not at this one, but at a different one. So let's see if it's even working. No, I don't want to use an app. Go away. No, I just want to pay on a card, please.
3 hours later.
So as with all charging stations, pretty much, you've got the choice between a CCS plug and what they call here a CHAdeMO plug, but CCS is what we're after here. So yeah, give me it, thank you. And no fancy flap here, literally in the same position as a fuel cap would be. In you go. This is all looking quite promising, ladies and gentlemen. On that note then, whilst we're getting some juice in the car, thank you very much for watching. That is my real world owner's review of my very own filthy Polestar 2. It's a big thumbs up overall for this car. Actually, I just want to show you the boot space before we go and expose how unpleasant I actually live my life. In fairness, some of this litter we actually cleared out for the review earlier, so don't judge me on that. I'm not actually living in the boot, but I could probably live in here if I needed to. Thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe to Electroheads, and I'll see you all very soon. Ah! Ow!